this as, I guess that's not going to work, as demanding more on an annual basis than the planet can produce. So we are in ecological overshoot in terms of drawing down the bank accounts, the natural capital accounts that we have available to us. We're good so far? All right? Okay, so now we can talk about nation.
Are we okay with projector now?
It's back on. I think it cooled off.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So now we can start looking at some of the details of these worldwide averages that we've been discussing. Let's talk, for example, about the top 10 biocapacities, the countries of the world that have the greatest opportunity to produce natural capital or biocapacity. And you can see them here. Interestingly, US, Brazil, Russia are the three largest providers of global natural capital. I think that's interesting. We oftentimes think of US as not, well, at least if you're like me, I tend to forget that the US provides an awful lot of biocapacity for the world as a whole. You know, we talk about California agricultural belt, and we talk about that in the context of its importance to the nation as a whole. We talk about the Great Plains and their importance to the U.S. as a whole, but we often forget that we're providing biocapacity for the rest of the world as well. The same is true in terms of Brazil. What has their biocapacity recently been dedicated to the past 20 to 30 years? It's been dedicated to converting rainforests to agriculture on a short-term basis. But they have a huge amount of biocapacity, even so. Interestingly, Russia, and especially that portion in the northern temperate range, provides an awful lot of biocapacity in terms of the forests that actually consume CO2 from the air. And those forests are having an increasing share of global value as we begin to think about the importance of carbon sequestration. So you see other nations here. You see China, India, all the way down to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Well, what about the ones with the largest footprints, the ones who are demanding the most resources? We talked about those 10 nations that produce resources for us. What about those 10 nations that actually consume them? Start at the bottom of the list here and work up. The United States is the largest single nation consuming biocapacity, then China, then India, all the way through to Japan, Brazil, Germany, Mexico, etc., to the UK. So those are the top 10 nations consuming biocapacity in the world as a whole. Now, this is a very busy slide, and actually I'm going to hand out little take-home versions of this slide, which you've probably seen on the website, yes?
Yeah.
Those of you who've been there. I hope I have enough of these. If not, maybe folks can share.
You can skip now.
All right, good.
You can skip into that.
Okay. I may have a couple more. Here you go, folks. Look over each other's shoulder. This represents the footprint of nations. Now, okay, where is the U.S. on this footprint? There it is. Okay. Interestingly, although we're the largest in terms of biocapacity consumption overall, per capita, look at this nation, United Arab Emirates. They are off the charts in terms of their per-person demand for biocapacity. And look where that is. That's all all energy. It's all CO2 related demand. And they know this now. And now they've been working with Global Footprint Network to try to discover ways of turning this around. They don't like being the largest on the average consumer of biocapacity. They think it works to their political and economic disadvantage. So they're trying to change that because for the first time now, they've seen it. And they see their demand for biocapacity in relation to the rest of the world. Okay, where is Canada on this chart? There it is. Somebody said 8th, exactly right. Or whatever. There is Canada. You'll see again that they have a large portion of their biocapacity demand that is energy related. The other nation here in North America is Mexico. Here is Mexico. A large portion, again, dedicated to CO2 assimilation or energy demand. Here's the world average, just to point that out so that you folks can see where that average is in relation to some of the other nations. Anybody have an idea where UK is on this map? It's sometimes hard to find, but so there it is. I just want to, yeah, there it is. And interestingly, look, there's a quite different balance between their demand for energy and their demand for other types of biocapacity. They're not as energy dependent. In fact, hardly any of the European nations are as imbalanced in terms of energy demand as we here in the U.S. Yes?
Kuwait is the third one. And Kuwait's pretty small. Like, what is it that creates such a large number?
UAE is smaller than Kuwait.
Okay.
But I think your point is that many of these Middle Eastern nations have developed, they are energy-rich nations, and they have not learned to manage those resources in an effective way. So it's as if we were a water-rich state, and we just use water for fountains and for swimming pools, and in an inefficient and unsustainable way. We wouldn't think about it because we had more water than we knew what to do with. Well, they have more petroleum than they know what to do with, and so they just throw it away.
What is it that creates such a large number? Like, what are they doing that creates such a
Well, for one thing, they air condition their homes. I mean, think about where they are. It's 110 degrees in the shade in January, and so they throw their resources at lots of different things in inefficient ways.
Is this per capita?
This is per person.
Per
Yes.
person.
Okay.
That was smart.
Okay.
Can I ask one more question too? And this was just in 2005. This isn't like a drawn out thing.
That's right. This is just a snapshot year for 2005.
Places like UAE and Kuwait also import quite a bit of their resources
Exactly.
because they don't have a lot.
That's right.
So, yeah, they're oil-rich companies, but it's the Middle East desert. There's not much going on. So, we're sending them tons of. Globally, they're accepting resources on a huge level.
That's exactly right. Yeah. This is the total demand for biocapacity, whether they generate that biocapacity inside their borders or whether they depend upon it from imports. This is total average per person demand for biocapacity. Was there a question? Okay, can somebody tell me where is China on this chart? There it is. At the very end, well, you actually can't see it, unfortunately. I don't know quite how to deal with that, but anyway, it is there below the world average, just below Trinidad and Tobago, if you can see that on your sheets. And then the next question is, where is India on the chart? India is way down the chart in terms of its per person demand for biocapacity. Remember, this is per person. But look how different India is from any of the other nations in this region. We're good. Thank you. You guys are
I
amazing.
tried to help.
Somebody heard. Where is Pakistan? How about Afghanistan? Look at Afghanistan. Now, think about this. This region of the world is in turmoil right now. What is that all about? Can we draw correlations between per person demand for biocapacity and government stability? Can we begin to think about poverty and impoverishment as drivers for conflict? And so, should that become part of our thinking in terms of sustainability? Absolutely. We're discovering that conflict regions are regions where there is very little biocapacity to be shared on a per-person basis. Now, interestingly, Kirsten earlier asked whether I have the opportunity to go and speak about this stuff. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to Charlottesville, Virginia, to talk with U.S. Army generals about sustainability.